All right. How are we with the level? Level enough? Level enough. This is Dante. What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the day. Today's the 11th of January, 2026. Yeah, this is a video on our main side. The main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. What we do is allow the human body to work. We do it through clothing. The only thing physically placed on us. We really talk about everything. Standing, sitting, walking, eating, breathing, sleeping, hydration, all the things we do. Allowing the body to work, well, yeah, there's only one way it ever could. Yikes, no opinion. The human body is just what it is. As we say, it's a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. There really, truly, actually, legitimately is only one way the human body could ever work. The thing is, a lot of people try to train the body to get it to do something. You just can't. There is only one way everything connects. All the bones in the body are only shaped the way that they are. They're only the length that they are. Muscles only connect to bones through tendons, inserting at the end points and doing just an inline pull, okay? The human body only pulls is something we put a lot of focus on because you can't push. We think of pushing, but really it's pulling muscles on the back side of a hinge. Just like we pull muscles on the inside of a hinge to close it, we pull muscles on the outside, if you will, of a hinge to extend the hinge. So the human body only pulls. That is a video here under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. We discuss the anatomy of the human body in depth. We give a lot of free modifications in clothing because clothing is the only thing physically placed onto us. So before we address anything in life, our clothing has to stay centered, it has to fit correct. Where we discuss clothing sits because there's a universal human design, skeletal system wise. It's got to operate, okay? We're dealing with Earth's gravity. We're dealing with the body having a center line that has to mesh with Earth's center of gravity. And we have things that are new, like unnatural, artificial, synthetic materials in our clothing, in our food, in our things we interact with in life. Okay, so 100% natural materials in all the ways we can is also required in clothing. It's the only thing you could ever possibly have the option to have until just tens of years ago from today's date. Okay, watch this. Dante, come. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. In the Image Clothing Company Poodles is another one of our fourths under In the Image Clothing Company. And we let dogs stay natural. The same thing as allowing the body to work here on In the Image Clothing Company's main side. We just phrase it different. We do the same things though, as we do for human beings. Okay, collars, leashes, harnesses, anything clothing the dog has to be centered and fitting them correct and made from 100% natural materials in all the ways we can. The thing with clothing, right, those last two of our 5-word company name, clothing company, yeah, anything, glasses, jewelry, anything placed onto the body is clothing the body with something. There's only one way the human body could ever work, and so if we put things onto it that don't allow it to work, then it doesn't work. Wow. All right, so we live up Utah. We do a lot in the beautiful, diverse nature here in the state of Utah, the United States of America, under In the Image Clothing Company, doing so much through the gift of video. And always, right, that's a lot of what we are as the company we are, and the Image Clothing Company is video. So, you are such a good boy, Dante. Oh, good. Yeah, we specialize in purebred standard poodles on In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. We give information on letting dogs stay natural, like I'm saying, that applies to all dogs. And really, a lot of animals across the earth as well. We are just living in a modern man-made world, placed onto God's natural earth. There's so many things we have to deal with that wasn't possible for human beings or animals have to deal with in the past, and domesticated animals have to deal with things that natural animals never possibly could even encounter, really, unless they came into our societies. Stretch in clothing goes the opposite direction of the only way muscles could ever work. Muscles only contract, the human body only pulls. There's just opposing muscles, or there's opposing sides to every function. So that's how the body's pulling, but still doing opposite motions, depending on which side is pulling. We discuss how there's opposition in all things. 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company is In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Literally translated, that means the good news of God. You don't have to be religious. We're all human beings, though. We're all the same thing. We're placed on the same earth. We're designed by the same God. Yeah, man. I mean, life really is just what it is. There's just truth to life. Nobody could decide. Nobody could decide, right? Everybody who has one, or everyone who has a body, all the human beings are the same. When we discuss where clothing sits under In the Image Clothing Company, when we just discuss life and how everything applies to everyone or everybody, okay? Designed in the image of God, in the image of Jesus Christ. There's the first 3 of our 5-word company name, In the Image Clothing Company. Yeah, God had to first look like us to design us in his image, and so the human body is something we can't train. It is impossible to do that. It's no claim, no new information, and it's just always been the same. It's nothing we could take credit for, though, either. What we do under In the Image Clothing Company with allowing the body to work. People try to stretch their body. They try to train their body to be in certain positions. It's impossible, and there's no opinion. There's a center line to the human body. It's always been this way. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw stabilizes the entire body. The dogs are the same body parts doing the same things. Dogs' spines are just horizontal, and human beings are vertical. But Earth has a centered pole that it just has gravity affecting anything placed onto it. So our bodies are affected by gravity's centered pole. There's a center line to our bodies. We have feet opposing this center line that grip arches inward and keep us vertical. We have clothing, though, placed on us. It's like a secondary thing, man. Really, it is, okay? Gravity affects our clothing as much as it affects our bodies. So clothing placed onto our bodies is being affected independently by gravity, and then our bodies are being affected independently by gravity, but the clothing's on us always when it's on us. We're pretty much always wearing clothing as human beings, okay? So this video's title, anyway, right? This video's title, if I didn't finish saying it, we're on episode 201 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast as of today's date. Check it out, just deep insights on life. You'll just learn what you learn. You'll hear what you hear. Check it out if you want to, because I really get deep in discussing what I discuss. You know, I just am good with words, and I do what I do. So I'll say that real quick. We have another 4th of In the Image Clothing Company, In the Image Clothing Company music, and that's where you can really see me work with words through music. Okay, rhythm and poetry, lyricism, spoken word, singing, guitar playing, all these things geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ with the messages on In the Image Clothing Company music. We show the sizing and setup of guitar as well to not alter the neutral wrist. There's just a neutral position to everything in the body because there is opposing sides or opposition to a neutral. There has to be a neutral. It's like driving forward in a vehicle from the neutral or driving backward in a vehicle from the neutral. There has to be a neutral if there's 2 sides. There can't be 2 sides otherwise. Okay? There really is opposition in all things. There's light because there's dark. There's cold because there's warmth. That's just how it is, right? There is just truth to life, and that's what I mean. The gospel of Jesus Christ is something you don't have to believe in, because even if you don't, it's still true. Okay? There's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled, You Don't Need to Believe in God. He's still there regardless of what you choose to believe. I don't believe in anything. Okay? So, there you go. That's a lot of what we do on each of the 4 sides of In the Image Clothing Company. Now, this video's title, I haven't said it yet in here. This is a big one. I love this. Check out the location as well, right? We live up Utah, like I say. Dante and I will be moving down to St. George, Utah, the very southernmost part of Utah. It's warmer than it is here in Utah County, okay, central northern Utah here. And it's a true desert. Sandstone, red rock, beautiful nature. Okay, it's awesome. There's some videos under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here before today's date. Well, on the In the Image Clothing Company music as well, that you can see St. George, Utah. We filmed some videos outdoors. I didn't have Dante yet. I've only had Dante for, as of tomorrow, 1 month. Okay, Dante's a rescue, man. You're a rescue dog. The neutral ankles and the neutral wrists. Okay, this video's title. We talk about the body. The body's on Earth's gravity. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Clothing's placed onto it. It has to be proper or it won't work. Okay, we're just holding our clothing off the ground all day, wherever we're going, whatever we're doing. You know, it's what it is. It's fabric, and the seams of the clothing has to mesh with our seams of our bodies, or the joints of the clothing have to mesh with the joints of our bodies. Okay, we've just got neutrals in the forearms. From the fingertips to the elbows, there's 2 bones in the forearm, and with the thumbs pointing up, with our elbows at our natural waist, okay, keeping elbows at the natural waist, a huge focus, and also a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. Above those hip bones, or the pelvis, and below the lowest ribs, our elbows sit. And they have a spot there for us to bend side to side at our spine, called our natural waist. And that's the neutral height for the shoulder. The shoulder is connected to the elbow through the humerus, or the upper arm bone. It's an immovable bone. So anywhere the elbow goes, the shoulder goes, and anywhere the shoulder goes, the elbow goes. So we need to keep our elbows at our natural waist, always in life. Forward to back and up and down. There's a neutral, okay? That neutral there, though, is the height of the shoulder. Okay? The elbow at the natural waist, that's the neutral, or natural, or normal, okay, synonyms within the human body's functioning, and the functioning of dogs as well, and animals, right? Yeah, that's the normal for the shoulder, is the elbows of the natural waist, okay? Because we'll be pivoting on this collarbone, coming from the center line of the body at the sternum, up and out to the peak of the edge of the shoulder here, okay? Okay, so what we have with our elbows bent at our natural waist and our thumbs pointing up is the neutral to the forearm's rotation. From here, we can pull our thumbs inward, rotate our thumbs inward, internal rotation. We can come back to the neutral with the thumbs pointing up, and then we can point our thumbs out, which is external rotation, and then back to the neutral, thumbs pointing up. Now, if we take our arms and we lock them out at the elbows, the hand becomes the shoulder, okay? Still with the thumbs straight up, anything the arm does at the hand, the arm will do at the shoulder. So we still have that neutral, okay? Straight out from the pinky finger, from the outside of the forearm, straight up from the thumb, with our arms out in front of us, neutral. Then we have internal rotation in the entire arm, back to neutral, and external rotation in the entire arm, and back to neutral. Okay, the thumbs coming in, internal, neutral, thumbs pointing up, thumbs going out, external, neutral, thumbs pointing up. In the lower legs, we have a neutral. The pinky toe straight forward, just like the pinky finger straight forward, we have different length toes. So we roll evenly off the ends of our different length toes, and the pinky is straight forward. There's a video Dante and I filmed here under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company titled the pinky toes and the pinky fingers. Very similar to this video titled the neutral ankles and the neutral wrists. The body just works how it does. Okay, the foot is the hip, the hand is the shoulder, the jaw is the shoulder, which is a video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here, Dante and I filmed. The ears are the jaw. There's certain things in the body that are very directly each other, and then everything in the body goes everywhere any of the body goes. Okay, so in the lower leg, from the foot to the knee, there's two bones in that lower leg, like there's two bones in the forearm, a radius and an ulna in the forearm, a tibia and a fibula in the lower leg. We have, from that neutral pinky toe straight forward, internal rotation, back to the neutral, and external rotation. If we lock the leg out at the knee, we have internal rotation from the foot to the hip, back to the neutral, pinky toe straight forward, and external rotation from the foot to the hip, and then back to the neutral, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work because it has neutrals. We have to reside in our neutrals, and the body really only works activated as a whole. It could only ever. Anywhere any of the body goes, all of it's coming with it. So you can't have part of the body trying to compensate for another part of the body not being activated or working or playing its individual role when it's all just connected as a kinetic chain. The whole body of the human being, okay? Okay, the neutral ankle and the neutral wrist, they're the same thing. Watch this. Dante's like, what is happening? I don't know if you can see my feet, because I can't quite tell in the monitor here if you can see my feet. I'm wearing the Zero Shoes branded Denver leather model boots. You are good, dog. You are a good dog, dog. You are so good, dog. Doggo, man. Dante, dog. Good. Yay. The neutral ankle and the neutral wrist, it's like the pinky toes and the pinky fingers. The pinky toe is neutral straight forward. The pinky finger is neutral straight forward. Okay. They correlate with each other. The hands are essentially the feet, really. The hands and feet only have one difference in the amount of bones in them. And they each have 5 digits, if that's what you want to call it, okay? 5 fingers, 5 toes. They each have arches. We talk about the hand arches correlating with the feet arches. The hand arches can only be there if the feet arches are not altered, okay? So the importance of zero drop shoes, a video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here. Zero drop shoes is just a term, zero drop, meaning the surface of the earth. We've got man-made shoe designs, and often they'll place heels on shoes under our feet's heels. The only way the feet could ever possibly work is unaltered. Okay, the surface of the earth just flat underneath them. Yeah, sure, we're going up a hill or we're going down a hill, but if you're constantly elevated at the heels because there's something under your heels, like heels on your shoes, your whole body's damaged to the tip of your head and the tips of your fingers. We say this phrase very often, right? We don't know what we don't know. We can't be held accountable for what we don't know. Your entire body's damaged. Undisputedly, chronically, just meaning until fixed or addressed. If you have heels under your feet on man-made shoes, okay? So, we put a lot of focus on the feet. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is just the only way the top of the feet are shaped. We just title it In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique because that way you can find it looking up In the Image Clothing Company. We don't own it though, it's just a weave of a rope. You can't own that. But the feet have two sides, okay? The surface of the earth is flat under our feet, horizontal, okay? Perpendicular with the pole of gravity being vertical, okay? So the feet have a neutral from pointing the toes, plantar flexion, to lifting the toes, dorsiflexion. Pointing the toes, plantar flexion, that's the sole of the shoe. And then there's that neutral, either just the surface of the ground of our planet, Earth, that God made for us. If you don't have any shoes on, okay, which you never would unless we made shoes as human beings. Or the term zero drop in shoes, right? Just flat on the bottom. That's the only way the feet work. It really is, okay? Because then there's the top of the foot, lifting the toes. Yikes, my hands are kind of cold. It's like 34-ish degrees Fahrenheit out here. Okay, so my hands are kind of sensitive because they're cold. I hit the back of my hand with the palm of my other hand. Lifting the toes, dorsiflexion, that is the top of the foot. That's the shoelaces on top of the foot. And really it's the upper of the shoe that's on top of the foot. But the laces will determine what that's shaped like, okay? What it's shaped like. We're just weaving a rope, and there's only one way all the bones, tendons, ligaments, and muscles in the feet connect and operate, you know, and grip arches and have a neutral with that pinky toe straight forward. And, you know, we can just evenly displace weight off the end of our different length toes. Yeah, otherwise you're just weaving a rope across your feet, you know, tying knots around your ankles in ways your feet don't work. Two videos that I filmed back to back down in beautiful St. George, Utah, were there is only one way the hands work and there is only one way the feet work, because there is. Man, that camera's moving. That's fine. I just wasn't watching it right then. I don't care, as long as it's still filming me to where you can get the information from this. But I noticed there's a dog over here quite a ways on the end of a leash, okay? But the feet and the hands, they're just about the exact same thing. So then above the feet, there's the ankles, and above the hands, there's the wrists. Always stop lacing at ankle flexion. A video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here. When we're lacing our shoes up, we have to stop the lacing or the laces going through the holes in our shoes called eyelets at where our ankle is flexing. I call it the angle of the ankle. I love the alliterations, okay? In The Image Clothing Company, Poodle Parade events under In The Image Clothing Company Poodles. Bring your poodles, purebred of any size or mixed poodles of any size, here to the state of Utah and wherever we branch out into with our events, but our focus is Utah location-wise as In The Image Clothing Company for a lot of reasons. We'll get people into nature and dogs into nature, do things for the environment, clean the creek, rid the rubbish, specific sub categories of Poodle Parade events. I love the alliterations. You know, I'm a lyricist and it just sounds good together, okay? Yeah, you know, church history. In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a lot of church history is in the state of Utah here. There's a lot of reasons we live up Utah. It's just so beautiful as well, okay? As one of the many reasons. It's so beautiful here. It's amazing. So amazing, okay? Don't believe me. And that's what I say. Don't believe me, Evan Strong. Don't believe In The Image Clothing Company. Me, Evan Strong, I'm the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, in this for life to lead it. Don't believe any of our team members, our poodles, or our human being team members on any of our information, because we do say things that sound so different than a lot of people, you know. I say the truth, and a lot of people don't like that, okay? It's impossible to train the body to get it to do anything, though. The only end is allowing God's design of the human being to work, or letting God's design of the dogs stay natural, they only do what they do. We didn't design this thing. We can't decide how it works. And so the neutral of the wrist and the neutral of the ankle is the same. It's like how the neutral height of the elbow and the neutral height of the shoulder is the same. You know, it's like how the neutral to the bottom of the foot being just flat on the surface of our earth is the same as the neutral to the pelvis. The pelvis has rotations from its neutral. The pelvis is the hips, right, of the human being, or any animals, really. The pelvis. It's got a neutral, horizontal. It's just the same perpendicular angle as the horizontal earth surface and then the vertical gravity pull meeting it, okay? Same with our feet flat on the ground. The pelvis is, or the hip structure is neutral, meshes with the bottom of the feet, okay? Or zero drop, the term in shoes. And then the pelvis can rotate underneath us and tuck posterior. It can come back to neutral, and then it can rotate away from us anterior or come back to neutral. The human body has opposing bends. It's impossible to train it. We just have to keep ourselves vertical over Earth's gravity. The ankles bend backward so the knees can bend forward. The hips bend backward so the lower back can bend forward. The mid back bends backward so the upper back, really the neck, can bend forward. We just have to have equal opposing bends, opposition in all things, to stay vertical on Earth's gravity's pull. There's no possible way to train that. It's mathematics, physics, okay? The human body is just mechanics is a video Dante and I filmed here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. The human body is just a machine of hinges, levers, and rotations, and just functioning physically. That's what mechanical machine means, is a machine of motion. We're just here on this earth and we're having motion across it. We're walking across the earth, you know. There's only one way it's going to happen. Things only connect in the body the way they do. It's impossible to train it, okay? It always has been. I didn't know either, okay, until just a couple years ago from today's date back. Today's the 11th of January 2026. No sales pitch, no claim, no anything. I mean, as I've said many times, when I say clothing truly is the only fix to human beings' physical problems, at least the problems we discuss that we have physically as human beings under In The Image Clothing Company, right? These problems that we discuss, which we discuss the entire body. So yes, clothing is the only fix. It's the only thing physically placed on us. It's the most direct and first fix. You have to address it before you can do anything else in your life. Anything you're doing in your life, you're doing it through your clothing. There's no claim. I'd say the same thing if I didn't have a clothing company, is what I'm saying here with this right now, because yeah, it's just the truth. That's why we have a clothing company here. That's why I founded In The Image Clothing Company, and I'm here for life to lead this as it is, because it's entirely universal. Okay, there you go. The ankles and the wrists, man, the neutrals. We have to be in our neutrals. We have to be in our neutral pinky toe, neutral pinky finger, neutral height of the shoulder, neutral in rotations from internal to external throughout the whole body, and neutral in the pelvis tuck, neutral in the ankle flexion, up and down, dorsiflexion or plantar flexion. Neutral, neutral, neutral. The neutral head position, a video Dante and I filmed just a few days ago here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Neutrals, okay? The human body resides in its neutrals, or it's on one side of its neutrals. Okay, and there's only a neutral. There's two sides to it, and so if it's not in the middle, then one side is limited. Okay? That's just how it works. It's a machine. And so the ankles and the wrists, they're going to be doing the same thing, okay? There's a video here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company titled Where Open Hips Really Come From. And really it's the feet. If your feet are collapsed with their arches, you'll never open your hips. As our foot comes up through the ankle, there's this slight outward curvature of the lower leg. Oh, good boy. You probably thought I was trying to get him to get up when I tapped on my legs. You good boy. You are a good boy. There's a neutral outward curvature to the lower leg. Traveling up, then our knee can track in line, right? Okay, and not wear the knee joint out. Traveling up through the upper leg bone, the femur, as we get up to the hip, the top of the femur or the upper leg bone comes up and then in, and there's a ball at the top of it that meshes into the socket of our hip, and that's how we have rotations in the leg from the top of the femur, or really the hip, down to the foot. Like saying from the top of the humerus or the upper arm bone at the shoulder out to the hand. That's how we have rotations, is these joints where bones meet bones. As the upper leg bone comes up and into the hips, it comes up and then it comes in, okay? Like from outside to inside, if you will, up and in. That's just how it's shaped. And so what I'm saying is, in order for us to have a neutral position through the body, we have to be up on the outsides of our feet. There's a video here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company titled Keeping Feet in the Outsides of Shoes. That's just how it feels, because in order for us to grip arches in the feet inward, opposing the center line, we have to start at the outside to grip in. The outside toes are the pinky toes, and they're the shortest ones. So we need our feet flat on the ground so that our pinky toes can reach the ground. Otherwise, we just fall into external rotation because our pinky toes just can't reach the ground to grip inward. If we elevate our heels off the ground with man-made shoes with heels on them. You're so pretty, Dante. He's a good boy. Keeping 2 points of contact in the feet. A video Dante and I filmed at Utah Lake. It was beautiful. It really was, visually. Okay, we need 2 points of contact in our feet. The different length toes and then the heel of one foot can be 2 points of contact to grip together, because muscles only pull, right? The human body only pulls, so the toe is pulling to the heel in one foot can grip an arch. The toes really grip. A video here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company, Dante and I filmed in the canyon. It was beautiful, okay? Good boy. We have toenails and fingernails needing to be all the way to the tips of the fingers and toes to fully back and support them, cut relatively flat on the tips. So we just stay in that neutral wrist and neutral gripped arch position in the foot. There's just a neutral, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. A phrase I could never overuse. It's just the truth, and we just need context. We just need to know what's going on. So we give it, right? We give a lot of deep explanations. There's no possible opinion or dispute to what we do under In The Image Clothing Company, because we didn't decide any of it. We just understand it deeply and explain it really thoroughly to where you couldn't possibly deny what's going on. It's nothing to do with us, but what we're showing here, right? Yeah. There's only a neutral. So 2 points of contact in the feet can be one foot on one side of the body and then the other foot on the other side of the body. Okay? One foot's one point of contact, the other foot's the other point of contact, and you're pulling opposing the 2 points of contact to stabilize. The human body has to stabilize or we just fall over on the planet. Okay? You need 2 points to pull. You can't pull if there's not two sides, right? One side's pulling, and then the other side's also connected to something, or else you can't be pulling anything, not really, right? There's just opposition in all things, there has to be. So, the gripped arches have to be there in the feet. We put so much focus on the feet under In the Image Clothing Company. We've got a lot of videos discussing the feet, things in shoes to be intentional about, and shoe laces, shoe tongue tabs, the soles of shoes, just the design of shoes, okay, tags in shoes, insoles of shoes. Anyway, there's a lot that we get into with shoes for the sake of the feet. Okay, the importance of the proper height socks. That's good for this video because our socks, that's a video by the way, the importance of the proper height socks under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. Our socks do need to be at a proper height. Above that ankle joint, but below the bottom of that calf muscle on the rear of the lower leg, somewhere right between there, so that we're not having the sock too short to where the material of the sock ends right at the joint of the ankle and alters how the joint of the ankle works. But then where the sock's not too high where it's up on the muscle of the calf, that muscle on the rear of the lower leg, and constricting that muscle. Okay, so somewhere right in between there is the proper height for socks to be, for the body to function of the human being. And that goes into the ankle positioning, okay? Because you'll never get a neutral wrist if you don't have neutral ankles. You'll never have neutral shoulders if you don't have neutral hips, right? The body does work from top to bottom, but it really works from bottom to top with Earth's gravity having to support ourselves at our foundation first. It always starts at the feet when we're talking about gravity because they're supporting our bodies. Let's say you've got an amputation, deformity, major surgery, birth defect, anything like this that alters your body, sets you apart a little bit, quite a bit. Well, we have to do all we can to get as close as we can to the universal human design in our own situations because we have to continue to breathe. It takes the entire body to breathe to some degree just through stabilization. And we're dealing with gravity still. There's still two sides to the body where the musculature contracts into, opposing the center line. The center line is just bones, like the spine and the sternum. So we just have to do all we can to do all we can, if you will. Dante, come. Hey. Good boy. Good. You did good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Dante. Good boy. Yeah. Okay, so things like prosthetic limbs, just to balance out weight on Earth's gravity, even if there's no functionality to the limb besides that, like for amputations, do you see what I mean? We have to do all that we can to do all that we can. And that's what I'm saying is you could never have neutral ankles if you have an imbalance in weight above your ankles in your body, because the feet grip opposing the center line with those arches inward. And if you have discrepant or different weight above the feet, then one foot's not going to be able to grip the ground if it doesn't have an equal amount of weight that it's supporting from the center line of the body. So yeah, we have to have neutral ankles before we can address the wrists. And if you have neutral ankles, you can probably have neutral wrists. It's like with the hand arches versus the feet arches, not that they're versing each other, but if you don't have natural feet arches and they're altered, okay, through incorrect shoe lacing, uneven shoe tying, heels on shoes, insoles in shoes, actually altering the way the feet can work, collapsing the feet arches, right? Yeah, you can't support an arch from underneath. That's just not how that works. Mechanically, geometrically, what do you want to say? You know, mathematically, it's just what it is, right? It's just what it is. It's so humbling. I love this. Look at this. Look at where we're at. Look how good of an obedient, beautiful poodle I have. I love you, Dante. You're so good. You're so good. You're good. So, our neutral ankle has to be there before we can travel up, because if the neutral ankle is not there, we don't have neutral hips. If the neutral ankle is not there, the ankle is supporting the legs that travel into the hips. Now the hips have the spine connecting into them that goes up to the shoulders. The shoulders come out to the wrists before they get to the hands. It's a kinetic chain. The body's all connected. That's what I'm saying. It can only ever work all together. Otherwise, compensation happens. Compensation can't happen. If compensation's happening, that means the body's being damaged, you know, man, dude, bro, sis. Yeah. What happens as we get into chronic patterning in the body? Scar tissue builds up, bone spurs build up. We live in a right-handed world. 85%, give or take, of human beings are right-handed. And so products are designed to be used with the right hand if they're designed for one-hand use over two-handed use, okay? Clothing has patterns to it that in themselves are right-handed, and they're placed on our bodies, and then Earth's gravity is affecting that. But then also just our bodies moving within our clothing, things we didn't have in the past, like rotated seams. In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification, one of our free modifications, In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification, one of our many free modifications under In the Image Clothing Company. But we've got rotated seams where they stitch clothing with robots nowadays. It didn't happen until just tens of years ago from today's date. Today's the 11th of January 2026. So they'll stitch clothing in one direction, they'll flip the clothing around and stitch it in the same direction. So now on two sides of our bodies, we've got the same rotation happening instead of opposing rotations to opposing sides of the body. And our bodies get into a twist. So oversized clothing, imbalances in clothing of any kind, like these ones I'm mentioning here, as some of them, you know, ropes introduced to the body through shoelaces, drawstrings, anything around the body at all, you can tie one side over the other. Dante and I filmed a video here under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company just a few days ago titled Left-Handed Knots versus Right-Handed Knots. Okay, and it just is what it is. We place things onto the body, it damages the body. The body's trying to work around these things for years, decades, an entire lifetime maybe. But if we can catch it, what we do here under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company really is get out of chronic patterning. Scar tissue, bone spurs, damage to the body that gets built up for so long. Okay, it's worse than an injury. It's worse because it's deeply ingrained, and then the entire body is just suffering for a prolonged period of time when we get into patterning in the body. And you just see it. Once you see what we show here under In the Image Clothing Company, you go through your daily life and you just see it happening. We live in a right-handed world. We live in a world with people wearing oversized clothing. And we live in a world with just basically universal clothing designs being shipped across the entire planet in ways that couldn't have happened in the past, but they can now through technologies. And there's just so many imbalances in clothing. We just don't know what's going on until we do. Right? It's universal. It's just happening. It truly is the only fix. clothing, right, to human beings' physical problems. It's just what it is. It's not a new thing. We're just explaining what's happening. It's always been happening. It always has been, because in order to have neutral ankles, for example, right, is one of the many things in the body that's just getting damaged, the ankles and the wrists, the neutral ankles and the neutral wrists. This video's title, under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company, on the 11th of January 2026. We have to have our pant cuffs off our ankles, okay? There's a video Dante and I filmed here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company titled The Extensor Hallucis Longus Muscle. Hi, bud. I love you so much, Dante. The Extensor Hallucis Longus Muscle and Shoelaces is the video's title I'm referencing here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Anyway, that's one of the muscles that goes through the ankle from the big toe up and out to the outside of the fibula, which is that outer leg muscle of one of the two, or no, outer leg bone. One of the two bones in the lower leg, right, the outer one. There's a muscle that's just going through the ankle, and really that's right on the crossing of the knot of our shoe laces when we tie our shoes. And anyway, you are awesome, Dante. Yes, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Up, up. Good, dog. Good. You are good. Good. We have, like I was saying earlier, the top of the feet being half of their function. The top of the feet is dorsiflexion. Dante, down. Good boy. Lifting the toes. Okay? That's only half the function from pointing the toes. Pointing the toes is only half the function from lifting the toes. There's opposition, and the top half of the feet is us opposing gravity. It's like the top half of anything in the body is opposing gravity, but we've got clothing placed on the top of us, pulling us down. Okay? We have to oppose gravity, or we're just gonna be on the earth, you know, laying down, flopped over, motionless. The human body is a machine of motion. It's a mechanical machine. It needs to be able to work the only way God designed it to, okay? I don't know if you can still see me. I'm still here. I'm just giving my boy some attention. He's a good boy. The Dante dog. A good dog. Yes. Good. You are good. Yay. Good. You're good, man. You are good. Dog. Good dog. Dante. Dog. Good. Yes. Dante. So, the ankles, they have to lift. Pant cuffs need to be off the top of the feet, okay? How pant cuffs affect body mechanics, that was 2024 in the Image Clothing Company, actually. Okay. Pant cuffs just have to be off the top of the feet. The big toes are the tallest toes, just like the thumb's the biggest or tallest finger. We discussed this in that video titled The Pinky Toes and the Pinky Fingers under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Dante and I were both there. We were in a beautiful little canyon area, actually. It was a good time. Okay, just right over here, a little ways. We just can't have things on the top of our feet, or they press down on our feet arches that rise, collapse our feet arches, collapse our neutral ankle, traveling up through the rest of the body, okay? So, the height of a gripped arch. A video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here. When the feet grip arches, when the toes really grip, with good toenails on the toes, okay? Zero drop shoes, the term zero drop in shoes. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique at the top of the foot, always stopping our lacing at the ankle's flexion, okay? Anyway, yeah, all that happening, plus more that we discuss under In The Image Clothing Company to not alter the body from the feet first. Zero Shoes, the brand, their slogan, live life feet first. Like I'm saying, I'm wearing Zero Shoes right now. The Denver leather model. The arch's grip. and rise, okay? So the height of the gripped arch can't be altered by something on top of it. Pant cuffs on the top of the feet collapse the arches and don't allow them to rise, okay? They don't allow the arches to rise. So there you go. The pant cuff's got to be off the top of the feet to have a neutral ankle. You don't have a gripped arch, you're not gonna have a neutral ankle. That's just how it works. Look at the hand. The hand is the foot, okay? Neutral, pinky toe. After we grip the hand arch, okay? Neutral pinky finger that we can see is the same thing as the neutral pinky toe after we grip the toe in from the outside, the pinky toes. The arches rise. Okay, there you go. Neutral ankles. All right, we can't alter them first if we're trying to have the rest of the body work. Anyway, we have to put focus on them first before we can address the wrists. The wrists are the same thing, okay? How sleeve cuffs affect body mechanics. 2024 in the Image Clothing Company. A couple years ago. Wasn't a couple of years ago, really. But, you know, it's 2026 now. It's just barely into it, right? The 11th of January 2026 is today's date. Our wrists just can't be altered like the ankles, okay? They can't be altered. You can't have sleeve cuffs sitting on the back of the hand and have a neutral wrist. You can't have pant cuffs sitting on the top of the foot and have a neutral ankle. This is the thing with the wrists and the ankles. The neutral wrist is slightly cocked back, okay? Clearing shirt tails with the thumbs. A video I filmed down in beautiful St. George, Utah, a little over a month and a half ago, probably, from today's date. It was in November of 2025. Ow, my hands are cold. Dante, how far are you gonna go by yourself, bud? By the way, we're somewhere where it's safe for Dante to be off his lead. I do have a slip lead right here in case of emergency, okay? But advocating for being good owners of dogs under In the Image Clothing Company poodles, I'm taking precautions, okay? I'm watching the surrounding areas, and he's fine. He's just such a good dog. Dante personally too, you know, apart from me being the owner and doing good things, Dante does good things on his end of being the dog. He really is. He's amazing. Okay. So we have the neutral ankle being slightly cocked back. Clearing shirt tails with the thumbs just stick off the wrist. The neutral wrist is straight out from the pinky finger, okay? The outside of the forearm, but the thumb sticks off the inside of the forearm. The thumb just has a different function than the other four fingers. It's the anchor point for the fingers. Like we talk about keeping 2 points of contact in the feet, keeping 2 points of contact in the hands is the same thing in a sense, because the fingers grip to the thumbs. The open palm and internal rotation. Internal rotation and the pinky finger. A couple videos here under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, Dante and I filmed about the hands. Okay, there you go. Context, content over context. Context over content is actually what it's titled. An episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We give a lot of context. Because I'm in this for life, okay? That's also an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. I'm in this for life. That was me, Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, speaking those words, and that is the truth. So, the neutral ankles and the neutral wrists. You can't have a neutral wrist if your thumb's altered, because the thumb just sticks off the hand. The thumb's on the opposite side of the neutral, which is the pinky finger. The thumb is not going to be neutral if it's straight out from the forearm. Okay, the thumb sticks off on the inside. We have opposable thumbs as human beings, okay? They just have their own function they play, just like everything in the body. But if we have sleeve cuffs that are just too long and sitting on our thumbs, it'll take our wrist out of its neutral. We won't have a neutral wrist if we don't have just natural motion in our hand by our sleeve cuffs being off the wrist so that we don't have something in the way. Okay. Same with the shirt tails, like I'm saying, clearing the shirt tails with the thumbs. If there's just a physical gap there and the thumbs can't have their own area, just naturally right by your own legs, as you would have if you didn't have any clothing on, the human body unaltered is the point, right, with no clothing on it. Yeah, you've got a gap there, let's say, from anything right around your thumbs, but shirt tails, things in your pockets, which will alter your hips anyway. It'll alter the activation of the musculature in your legs and change how your core works. Okay, meaning not allow it to. There's only one way it does work, so if you change it, it can't. There's a neutral, right? Like I said, the bottom of the feet, the earth's surface, zero drop determines shoes. The horizontal pelvis, neutral from posterior to anterior. There's just a neutral. You put anything in your pockets, your whole body's damaged. Your hips are the center, right? To the tip of your toes, tip of your head, tips of your fingers, body's damaged with anything in the pockets ever, period, and done. There's only one way the human body could ever work. You also alter your thumbs, okay? The thumbs just have to be right at your own legs because they're your own thumbs and they're your own legs, okay? You put something man-made between there, anything, clothing item or anything placed onto the body, clothing the body, the thumbs are altered, the neutral wrist is altered, okay? There you go. That's just how it works. Mind the Gap, an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Mind the gap. We talk about a lot of things. I talked about things about God. Mind the gap between us and God. You're a good boy. I know I'm just yelling. I'm not yelling at you. You're a good boy. Mind the gap between us and God is one of the points I made in there, but also mind the gap in our clothing. Like our arms and our own rib cage, our thumbs and our own legs, right? Just our elbows and our own natural waist. Mind the gap. Oversized clothing, your arms can't just hang down with Earth's gravity. The neutral arm is just the fingertips hanging down with Earth's gravity straight down from the shoulder capsule. It's the same thing. There's no way to train it. It's just Earth's gravity-centered pull, okay? If the whole rest of the body is not altered, though, that's how it's just gonna be. God designed the body to work. There's only one way it ever could, truly, okay? If we never altered it, it would just work. Within our own individualistic situations, that's how it is. That's just the case. It's just what it is. You look at animals, they don't do workouts, they just work. Domesticated animals, though, yeah, we've got a lot of things that can alter them. That's where In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, with our information on letting dogs stay natural, comes in. So, the wrists, they gotta be unaltered, man. Sleeve cuffs, and then you gotta watch out for things against the thumbs. Watch out for a gap at your own side between your arm and your own body, because we need even elbow extension, okay? The importance of even elbow extension, a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. When we extend the elbows, the arms go to our sides. That's just how it works. So if there's something in the way of your arm and your own side, you're never going to extend your elbow fully. Your neutral wrist will be altered, okay? Yeah, there you go. Oversized tops. This could be such a huge discussion. The point is, the wrists and the ankles, they're like the same thing. The hands and the feet, they're like the same thing, right? The elbows and the knees, they're like the same thing. The hips and the shoulders are like the same thing. There's just only one way the human body could ever work. And so, if we're gonna have a neutral wrist and a neutral ankle, we have to start at the bottom up on Earth's gravity, at the lowest of the two. So the neutral ankle's got to be first before the neutral wrist. And it's just what we say. It's just when we discuss where clothing sits, well, it has to, okay? Internal rotation from the shoulder to the foot, a video Dante and I filmed under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. The body can be affected from top down, even though gravity is doing what it's doing and pulling down on our bodies, and we support our bodies from the bottom up. We support our bodies from the top down as well. It's all got to be functioning together. You're not going to support your shoulders from your feet alone. Your shoulders are supporting themselves by connecting up to the base of the rear of your skull and the cervical spine or the spine of the neck through musculature, raising the shoulder up. The upper trapezius starts at the top of the shoulder blade or scapula. Okay, that big bone on the rear of the upper back, there's one on each side, and that muscle pulls up to the base of the rear of the skull to lift the shoulders. Like I was saying earlier in this video, we pivot on this collarbone or clavicle, up and in. When we come up, the collarbone comes in, or down and out. When the collarbone goes down, it goes out. Now look at the angle of my arm against my own side. As my collarbone pivots up and in, I can have a neutral wrist. As my collarbone pivots down and out, my wrist essentially collapses, as my foot arch would do, and my neutral ankle would also do, okay? The neutral wrist is slightly cocked back. just imagine reaching out to grab something. You have to have your wrist back a little bit. Now, take your arm and put it down at your own side, and look, your thumb can clear your own side with your wrist slightly cocked back. If your wrist isn't slightly cocked back, and a lot of that can come from just fingernails being cut too short, the natural God-given strength in the fingernails just being cut away, your whole body's damaged. Toenails or fingernails, you cut them too short, you lose all your natural strength, okay? And just the natural positioning too for your body. So yeah, if you don't have backing to your fingernails, you're not gonna have this natural, neutral, normal wrist position. Picture Legos. You know Legos? The Lego movie, if you will. You know, just Legos, the brand Lego, the toy. You see their hands and they're like this. The wrist is cocked back. Look at my shoulders rise as I cocked my shoulders, as I cocked my wrists back, okay? Like this. That's how it works. You pull your wrist back, your thumb goes neutral with your own side, and your collarbone pivots up, raising your shoulder, okay? But there's a neutral height to that. We want to be in that neutral. It'll just naturally happen if we allow our bodies to work. That's what I'm saying though. The neutral wrist is slightly back, okay? So you've got sleeve cuffs in the way, you'll never have your wrist back. You're not gonna fight just a piece of material on the back of your hand. So your sleeve cuffs are too long, your wrists will come in. But now where do your fingers go? They hit into your own sides, unless you pull your arms away from your body. Now you can't extend your elbows straight. There's just only one way the human body could ever work. There's no possible opinion that could ever be had. We just don't know what we don't know, and that's fine. Giving false information is not fine. In the Image Clothing Company, we're here to give the truth. Don't believe us, but you can do it with your own body. It only works how it does. Bones just connect to each other the only way they do. They're only shaped and lengthed the way that they are. There's only one way it can work. It's in its neutral positions. The neutral ankles and the neutral wrist, you got to watch out for those thumbs hitting your legs, okay? You've got to keep your wrist slightly cocked back, because if you do reach out to just grab something, you can't do it with your fingers just like pointing straight. You have to cock your wrist back to reach, to grab something. That's just the neutral. That's just how it works, okay? That's just how the body works. It's the length of the fingers. It's the length of the thumb. It's how we have an opposable thumb working with the fingers. It's the rounding to the hands, the arch in both the feet and the hands. It's the different length toes. There's only one way the human body could ever work. We just have to understand it as it is, or it's just not gonna work. You know, you can do all the workouts you ever want, all the stretches you ever want. You can do whatever you ever think you want to try to do to get your body to do something, and that's physically, mechanically impossible to do. There's no opinion that could possibly be had. You just have to see it as it is. We got different length fingers. We've got, yeah, just all the things we do. It's cold. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it right there, because that's what it is. All right. So there you go. I'm so grateful for this video specific. I am cold, man. It's probably right around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 34 degrees a couple hours ago, and it's only a little bit later now. The sun's getting pretty darn close to the horizon, so I'm really grateful. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just giving context. I'm really cold right now, understandably so. So I love Dante. I love doing this. I'm in this for life. We got a lifelong company here. No way it could ever possibly not work, because it's nothing to do with us. It's entirely universal. It's about God and his design of the human being. And truth is truth. You know, we couldn't have ever decided any of this. It just is what it is. The body, okay? The point is, the ankles kind of roll out as the wrists come back, okay? If your wrists come in, your arches collapse in. If your wrists come out and up, your arches come up and grip, okay? It's just like they're working together. I don't know how well you can see my feet, so I'll step back here at least to show that. You know, the ankles rolling out as the arches grip in, and the wrists coming back as the wrist goes neutral, I guess. I mean, I don't even really know what to say to explain that so much right then, but watch this. Just so you can see for sure, right? Watch my ankles roll out as my wrists roll back, okay? Neutral is back like this. The thumb's clearing the sides. we can actually grab something with our hands, with our fingers working with our thumbs, and we're in that gripped arch position in the neutral, ankle and foot, traveling up the legs to the hips, through the spine, to the shoulders, out to the hands. It's all got to work together or it just won't work. So today is the 11th of January 2026. My name is Evan Strong. I'm the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. I'm in this for life. So is Dante. We'll have many poodles as time goes on. One day Dante will die. So will I.